And welcome back to Red Card. I'm your host, Anthony Toter. And once again, we want to thank Joe Petroni, former general manager of FC Edmonton. Love talking to Joe. He's brought so much to the game in this country of ours, Canada, that we love so much. Joe, we'll have you on once again. And good luck with the possible expansion team in Calgary in the North American Soccer League. And I tell you, it'll be nice to see another team in Alberta. But right now, as I said, right off the top of the show, a guy that I've wanted to have on for at least a month or two, a guy that is highly touted in this country, and a TFC player, Kyle Bekker, joining us right now. Kyle, welcome to Red Card, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you on. Kyle, let's go way back. That day at the draft, and your name gets called out. What was going through your mind?
A lot of emotions. I mean, mostly just excitement. I was happy to be selected by my hometown. I was happy to have my friends and my family there to share the moment with.
Let's talk about that, Kyle. Obviously, that was a day you'll never forget, but I'm pretty sure when the moments were quiet and you were alone, there was people that were going through your mind that you really wanted to thank. Maybe a parent, a coach, someone that helped and guided you throughout this point. Who was that?
Well, I mean, for me, pretty much the most important people who were there with me, my parents, and also my agent and my former coach, who I'm very close with. And the only one who wasn't there was probably like to thank my coach over at Boston College for having me there for the last 4 years.
Hey, let's talk about that, Kyle. A lot of times as parents, we take our kids to game after game, practice after practice, fill up that car, take them to grab something to eat. And you never would think that one day it would all evolve into being a professional player. You just want to keep them happy and off the streets. But it must have been amazing to just thank your parents and say, hey, thanks for all those drives and all those tournaments you took me to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've done so much for me, so having them there was definitely special.
Kyle, let's talk about now, let's fast forward a bit, and let's talk about your time as a youngster. You spent it in a couple different components in your young career. Obviously, you played in the youth club situation with Oakville a bit, but then you also went to Sigma Academy. Talk about the differences between the academy and the club atmosphere and what you enjoyed from each of them.
Well, definitely playing young and playing with Oakville was a great experience. I mean, some of my closest friends I met playing with Oakville, so it was definitely great. And we had a lot of success. I mean, we won the national championship at under 14, won probably every trophy you could win at the club level. So I was lucky. I was on a really good team, so that was a great experience. But then moving over to Sigma and the academy was a good experience. I mean, it was more switch to the technical side and not just winning and losing and stuff like that, and really focus on the stuff I need to get better at. And they've done a lot for me, and that really got me ready to make the jump to the next step.
I got to ask you, Kyle, I've got a son, two boys, one 15, one 19, and the 15-year-old does both. He does academy and club. But I got to tell you, I notice a little difference in the academy structure where it's more business-like. It's more regimented where they look at their players and they want respect right away, and they want their players to show respect. And with the club, I'm sure some of them do that, but it's a more relaxed feeling. How did you get that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree with that. And I was lucky the guys over at Sigma, they've treated me well, and it's a very professional atmosphere, and they teach you right from the start how to act and how to be a pro, and they treat you like an adult, which is no different from what happens everywhere else in the world. So it's how it should be, I think.
Let's talk about now, Kyle, this time of year, a lot of young men and young women, if they're good enough and if they're talented enough, they're making their way down south to set up, their situation with a possible college or university in NCAA. You had a marvelous career at Boston College. You had a wonderful career there. Talk about some of the pros and cons, and what advice would you give to that young man or young woman before they go down there?
Well, I think it's just finding out what fits best for you, and what situation you're going to get the most out of, and whether it might not be the best school or what the school with the most wins. That doesn't really matter at the end of the day. What matters is you get yourself ready to hopefully make the jump to the next step, and whether it's finding a coach that you can work with or a team where you're going to have a lot of opportunities to play and get a lot of games under your belt, and I think that's what's most important.
Now, Kyle, let's fast forward and talk about this season with TFC. I know it's been a really excruciating, a tough season for the club, but for you personally, and I don't expect you to comment on this next comment, but I'll do it because I followed you since day one. And to me, I see something completely different when you play for Canada, you put that jersey on, and then when you're with TFC. I look at you as a player with Canada, Kyle, where you spread the ball around. You're confident, you're relaxed. But with TFC, I don't know if it's just because you're young or you're not in the books with the head coach right now, but you're not getting the opportunity to really display your talent. Talk about it.
I mean, I don't know if that's all it, but I mean, I'm still young. I mean, it's my first season with the club, and yeah, we're going through a little bit of a rough patch, but I mean, the guys are training hard, and I think it's gonna start coming together, and soon enough the ball is gonna bounce the other way, and we're gonna start pulling out these wins, and it'll be a little different.
Talk about the fans, Kyle. I mean, the fans of Toronto have been outstanding, standing by the team through thick and thin. You know, they love watching the local players like yourself and Jonathan Osorio, and they want to see these young Canadian Ontario kids succeed. How great is it to see the fans support you and the team?
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing. I mean, they keep coming out each and every week, and it means the most to all the guys in the locker room. Whether they know it or not, we're trying to get them results, and they're going to come, and hopefully they just keep coming out. I mean, the sport is amazing.
Talk about Canada now, Kyle. Obviously, that first time you got the call up to play for the men's national team, it must have been an amazing feeling. But talk about that responsibility now, Kyle. Yourself and guys like Russell T-Bird and Lucas Cavallini, and I could go on and on. These guys now that are going to make the nucleus of the next run to the World Cup in Russia, how much does it weigh on your mind and the other young guys that you really want to break that cycle to get to the World Cup so that young Canadian kids can look up and say, hey, I want a Kyle Bekker Team Canada jersey?
Yeah, I mean, putting the jersey on was an incredible feeling. I mean, it's something I've wanted to do my whole life, and to have the opportunity, I was really thankful for that. But I mean, it starts showing that a lot of young guys called in, so I mean, it's nice. It's great to play for them, but I mean, there's still a job at the end of the day, so we got to do well, and hopefully we keep getting the call back, and the young guys can get some results together.
Kyle, where did you learn your wonderful style of distributing the ball? I got to be honest, the game against Canada and Costa Rica, I was sitting down with my 15-year-old, and specifically, he plays that midfield position, and he controls it, and I'm asking him to watch yourself and other guys out there, and the way you distribute that ball, where did you learn that style of play? Was it your academy, your club? Where was it, at Boston College?
I mean, passing sort of always just been a strength of mine, something I pride myself on. So, I mean, I think I've always just been able to, or sort of had it in my locker. But I think, yeah, definitely going into Sigma, they definitely developed me and starting to get the best out of me, and just use that going forward. What
I've also noticed, Kyle, is you're pretty good at set pieces, and obviously it doesn't come overnight to do a set piece like you've done. You've got to work at that time and time again. Is there something that you want to tell the young kids out there that would like to do set pieces like yourself?
Just repetition, just try and get as many kicks of the ball as you can, whether it's staying after practice, hit a few free kicks, a few corners, or whatever, just get a feel for the ball.
Kyle, you know, I look at the NCAA, and I had the head coach of University of Maryland on a few times on my show, Sasho Sarowski. He's a friend, and he's a wonderful Canadian. And I talked to him before the game against Mexico, the U.S., at Azteca Stadium. And that night, he had 4 of his former Maryland players in the starting lineup. You got to tell me, Kyle, when you played in NCAA with a wonderful program at Boston, how competitive was it, and how much of it was it really tailored to, the style of getting ready to play in MLS?
Well, being in the ACC, I've played against a lot of guys who are now in MLS and have made the jump. So it's a very competitive conference. So playing in that, you can sort of judge yourself whether you'll be ready or not. And I mean, it's a great place to be, definitely.
Where is the most difficult situation as a young player for you to be at now? Is it to adjust your mind you're going to play in an AstroTurf one night, grass on another? Is it the travel? Because obviously you've never traveled as much as you are now. Is it a lot of the free time you have? How do you juggle and really get this all in order?
Yeah, it's definitely different. But I mean, if it's what you want to do, then you sort of make the adjustments. But I mean, it's probably just the length of the season has to be the biggest adjustment for every player coming from college to the pros. I mean, it's almost twice the length, if not more. So it's definitely something you just got to stay focused the whole time, which I guess some people could have some trouble with. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you want to be doing, so you make the adjustment.
It's got to be great, Kyle, to watch some of the other teams with some of their veterans that have really put this league on the map. I think of Landon Donovan Keene. I think of Marco DeVaio. And then talk about, Kyle, that Pacific Northwest. I mean, you look at Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver. They pack the fans in. They're rabid, they're boisterous, and they really support their team. How great is it to be in a league that really right now is going in leaps and bounds?
Oh, it's great. I mean, to play in places like that and have such good atmosphere, it's amazing. I mean, it's what you want to be doing, so, I mean, it's great. No complaints from me.
I mean, obviously TFC has had their struggles, Kyle, but I got to give them also credit for the facilities they have in place. I mean, out by Downsview Park there, the Kia Center is really outstanding. The field, BMO Field, I think it's one of the best in MLS. I mean, it's got to say a lot that MLS and E has really given a lot of these great, I call them toys, to the players.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they treat us great, so we have nothing to complain about. Now, hopefully we can just give a little bit more back to the organization.
Kyle, just a couple other quick questions, and then we'll let you go. When you started thinking of yourself of possibly playing as a pro, who did you want to tailor yourself after? Was it someone in Europe that you really watch a lot of video of and you want to become like? Was it maybe a Canadian? Who do you want to tailor yourself after?
For me, growing up, it was always Dennis Bergkamp. Watch Dennis Bergkamp, everything. I think he's one of the best players ever, and if you can do anything like him, you're doing something right.
Have you noticed, Kyle, that the game in MLS is like the NCAA, where it's a physical brand of game? It's a real a man's game, I like to call it. It's not really like still in Europe where it's possession and control and relaxed. I've watched a ton of MLS games over the last 10 years, and I find a lot of times they're rushing, they're sending a lot of long balls. Is it hard for you to adjust to that?
No, it's definitely a fast-paced game, but I mean, like you said, coming from college, yeah, it's similar. It's fast and it's physical, but I mean, I think there's teams in this league who play incredible soccer, and I mean, teams like Kansas City who just keep the ball and they possess. So I mean, it's not all just like that, but I mean, it's a very fast, high-tempo game.
Well, Kyle, we'll close it out with this. A lot of Canadian soccer fans are really looking forward to see you on that Gold Cup roster coming up for Canada. I'd like to see, and many would like to see you on there. What are you looking forward to if you get that call up to represent Canada? Are you looking for yourself to really grow and develop still as an international player?
Oh, definitely. I mean, just hopefully just can take as much out of it as I can if I get the call up, but hopefully the team does well. That's all that matters in the end.
And great stuff, Kyle. Listen, we wish you nothing but success, and I speak personally, myself, and for many out there. We want to see you play a lot more for TFC. We want to see you play for Canada. You've got a bright future. You're a humble kid. Keep going. Keep working hard. Good things will come your way. Kyle Bekker of TFC, thanks again, my friend, for taking time out of your life, and keep your head up high, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me.
That is Kyle Bekker of TFC. This young man is on the rise. I love watching this kid, especially when he plays with Canada. I got to be honest, I'm dumbfounded. I'm confused why he hasn't been given the time with TFC. It boggles my mind. Drafted third overall. All right, Kevin Payne, the guy that drafted him, and you know what? I can't blame Kevin Payne because a lot of guys were after him. He drafted Kyle Bekker, and to me, I heard a lot of people talking that this guy could have gone 1 or 2. And to me, the way he's been sitting on the bench minutes after minutes after minutes and not developing, this has got to hurt a young guy's career. So to me, I want to see this guy play for TFC. I want him to develop, and I want him to grow into an MLS star. And not only that, to also develop and go on to represent the country I love, Canada. Because I got to tell you, straight up, here I don't sugarcoat things. As soon as this kid puts on the Canada jersey, I watched it against Costa Rica. He's a totally different player, a totally different human being. He distributes the ball. He looks like a young leader out there. He's comfortable. He's relaxed. Well, Coach Ryan Nelson, look, I understand it's your first year. I understand that you're under a lot of pressure. But here's a kid that was drafted third overall. Give him a shot. Give him an opportunity to make him understand that he belongs, just like Jonathan Osorio. God bless Jonathan Osorio. He's proved a lot of people wrong, and he's playing outstanding. Kyle Bekker can do the same. To me, it's a mystery. Kevin Payne drafted this kid. Give him a shot. Listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Then coming back, we're going to tee up tomorrow night's show. We got another heavyweight coming on tomorrow night. Oh, yeah, don't you dare miss it from the Philadelphia Union. I'll let you in on who we're going to have on. Stay tuned right after this commercial break here on Red Card.